Good evening and welcome to my midweek recap here for the S&P 500 and plan ahead for the remainder of the week. Last week I got into these 21 September 287s, still very much profitable on those, and I will look to close those out in the next day or so. The management went as follows. I added in here at 250 after our initial entry at 292. Next day, after this at this gap down at the 21 EMA, I added at 220, took my average to 254. Next day, I closed them out on this pop, and ever since then, I've been holding. They're hovering around 4.5, I think, a contract right now. As long as there's no extreme reaction to some news in the markets or whatever, don't foresee anything really hurting those being in the money at the moment. So I'm going to hold those. I'm going to look for a little bit of a move above this 291.75 area for a move up to 292, which is my overall target for those. I'm trying to get out about $5 a contract. So we'll see what happens on those. On to, I still have those June 2019 325s and also this 16 November 320 call here at 8 cents. So plenty of upside exposure still here for the S&P 500 and a little bit of some odd looking patterns here intraday and the past couple of days here. Setting up into a possible broadening formation, which is a pattern of price discovery, just shows that there's a battle going on for who's going to win, higher or lower. Right now we had this high taken out of about 291.30. We'll see if it continues above there. May test this level, the upper end of this little broadening wedge right here comes out to about 292, which also coincides with that target I'm looking for. A little bit of a pattern here on an intraday basis, maybe a diamond top if you can kind of connect these peaks right here. Could potentially be looked at as a top, but you know me, I'm a perma bull, so I don't even want to hear any of that top argument nonsense. If it does fail and start to come down here, I will close out my 287s. I'll get into 290 calls here about 2 weeks in the future. Below there, I'll also look for 288 calls 2 weeks in the future at this other end of the broadening wedge and 21 EMA, which will probably open up a little bit higher, so those may be adjusted to 289s. If that fails, price action comes down even further. I'll be looking at the 50 SMA at 285 calls about 4 weeks in the future, and way down here below, still looking for 275s about 4 weeks in the future here at the 200 SMA. For now, that's my trade plan for the S&P 500. Over here on the daily time frame, almost an inside day, which is just a pattern of indecision. Did pierce the highs over this prior range, and as I've said on the weekly time frame, I believe we're in a high probability time of having a new all-time high for the S&P 500. And if this chart loads and cooperates, you can see they've basically chopped around at this prior all-time high. I'm not sure why it's not loading right now, but look at call it 287. Nice round number here. Price action broke above, came up, consolidated, put in a higher low, broke above, tested, and is now back up to where it came from. This could potentially be a little mini double top, an island top, whatever the case may be, and we might roll over. If we do, most likely still going to have yet another higher low. If you look at all these little troughs way down here, market's still going to be bullish. So with all of that in mind, this would be my trade plan for the S&P 500 going forward. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Have a good evening and good luck tomorrow.